Fun. Twitch isn't responding very well. Oh, what happened?
I don't know.
That was kind of weird.
What happened?
Didn't like what.
Is it giving you glitches, Michael?
It is giving me a little bit of glitches going on there. Ooh. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching the Barre Beat podcast live from Fly on the Wall Productions Studios, Main Street, Barre, Vermont. Tonight with us, we have Raylene and Alice.
Good evening.
Evening, ladies. How are you doing?
Oh, wonderful.
Wonderful?
Yes.
Wonderful?
Sure.
So I just wanted to jump right in and talk about Juneteenth. So this is I've talked to a couple people, and I feel like there's like some dearth of information out there.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know about it, and for rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good reason why people don't know about it. And I'm sure you guys would understand. When did you first hear about it? Juneteenth.
I think last year.
Within the last 3 years.
Yeah, within the last 3 years. And that's what, one of the things that this is, it came up during the riots, right? Mm-hmm. People burning down buildings, and so this is about the time that this came into a national view. However, it was actually a state holiday in Texas. I did some research on this, and I found it very, very interesting. And I highly recommend that anybody that's watching to do the same type of research. Although I'm going to give you all the information I got today. So we're all familiar with Battle of Bennington Day, correct? Mm-hmm. You guys are familiar with that?
Of course.
So I think that Juneteenth in Texas was the equivalent of our Battle of Bennington Day. And just some history, we've got the proclamation, Emancipation Proclamation that was done September 22nd day of September in the year of our Lord, 1862. I'm actually reading the proclamation here. And Alice brought, just because, we like the ambiance of it. She brought her picture, which is, I'll let Alice explain this.
It is a lithograph of a painting which was done in 1864 by Francis Carpenter. And at that time, there was no instant printing or photographs or anything. So the way for people to have a copy of that painting was to have a lithograph. And this lithograph hung in my great-great-grandparents' house, then my great-grandparents' house in Boston, Massachusetts, and through the ages finally ended up in my house. And I have it, and it is called The First Reading of the Emancipation Proclamation. And it is President Lincoln and his cabinet. And the names of the cabinet, some of them we would recognize, like Seward, who went on to purchase Alaska. He was in the cabinet. He was Secretary of State. Edwin Stanton was the Secretary of War. And this was a presentation taken from Mr. Lincoln's report of how they put together the Emancipation Proclamation, how they read it, and Francis Carpenter painted the picture that then became a lithograph.
So that was in September, and the September Emancipation Proclamation said that on January 1st, and I'll just read it right here. Excuse me. That on the first day of January in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of the state, the people thereof shall be in rebellion against the United States, shall be thenceforward such big words.
Yes.
Forever free, and the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons or any of them in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom. So this was the emancipation, right? And that was in 63. And obviously, back in those days, they had Pony Express. They didn't have Facebook, the TikToks, the
Right.
Twitters.
But they did have the
Instantaneous.
telegraph.
Yeah.
They did have the telegraph.
They did have the
Telegraph.
telegraph. They did, but
But it didn't go everywhere.
correct. And what Juneteenth is the actual day, June 19th, 1965.
No, 18.
Oh, sorry,
1865.
I'm sorry, 1865. So what people can't see is in Texas, they actually have a plaque that was installed on sometime in 2014, where they commemorate June 19th as the oldest known celebration of the end of slavery in the U.S. Emancipation Proclamation. This is on the actual plaque, issued by President Abraham Lincoln on September 22nd, 1962, announced that on the first day of January A.D. 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state in rebellion against the U.S. shall be thenceforward and forever free. However, it would take the Civil War and passage of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution to end the brutal institution of African American slavery. After the Civil War ended in April 1865, most slaves in Texas were still unaware of their freedom. This began to change when Union troops arrived in Galveston. Major General Gordon Granger, commanding officer, District of Texas, from his headquarters in Osterman Building, Strand in 22nd Street, read General Order Number 3 on June 19, 1865. The order states, "The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. With this notice, Reconstruction era in Texas began." Freed African Americans observed Emancipation Day, as it was first known, as early as 1866 in Galveston. As community gatherings grew across Texas, celebrations included parades, prayer, singing, readings of the proclamation. And in the mid 20th century, community celebrations gave way to more private commemorations. A reemergence of the public observance helped Juneteenth become a state holiday in 1979. Finally observed in Texas, this landmark event's legacy is evident today by worldwide commemorations that celebrate freedom and the triumph of human spirit. And I read this and reading the history, and it just reminded me of just how awesome our country is. And we have to understand that, it is awesome, but, it also acknowledges the fact that our country has made some mistakes. And the thing is that we have to learn from those mistakes.
Exactly.
And I think that, and although I know that there's some, consternation over, we have to understand that this is a day to celebrate a great victory in our country, a day where blood and treasure was shed to bring freedom to a race of individuals that, had been enslaved. And granted, there's, it wasn't perfect, right?
Right. It certainly didn't stop everything.
No, it certainly didn't stop racism, and we had to do the 13th Amendment, which was passed in January of 1865, which is neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. So I thought it was really awesome, and I think that we're not familiar with the history of it because like I said, I mean, you think of it, it's similar to, for us, Battle of Bennington. It's a local, and I say Battle of Bennington, but this is far more significant. But it was more of a local celebration in Texas, and
right.
I think it's something that we should all embrace, because it is really celebrating our history. That's my opinion.
And something else that's very important to understand with all of that is that at that time, Texas was still a republic. It was not a state. It was considered to be an independent entity. So to have a Union general come into town and make this announcement on behalf of the President of the United States, that was a very gutsy move. And did that. And eventually, of course, as we all know today, Texas did join the Union, become a state. But very independent group of people, and that's why they were keeping their celebration somewhat to themselves.
Yeah. So I just wanted to
right,
give
to
some
clarify
history.
what the actual day is. And and yes, we spoke about it more after George Floyd and the riots and everything that happened, but it has existed for a long time, and it certainly is something to acknowledge and celebrate.
And a word
I agree
that has
with
come
you.
into our vernacular from this is the word jubilee. That a huge party of celebration and happiness, a jubilee. And I would hear that. I lived in Memphis for many years, and I would hear the word jubilee attached to church celebrations and things like that. And that's where that word came from, was to have a huge party celebration of something really grand and glorious. And so the jubilees that they had throughout Texas were the celebrations of Freedom Day.
So you mentioned, I mean, I'm familiar with Jubilee, but when I think of Jubilee, the thing that comes to my mind is 50-year Jubilee. Yes. Which are you religious, and do you how? So the 50-year Jubilee is when all debts were completely wiped in Judaism. That was, all the debts were wiped at year 50. I think it was either 50 or 49. I don't know, but that's what I think of when I think of Jubilee. I wish I could have a Jubilee. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, yeah.
All my debts wiped away.
Me too. Me too. Wouldn't that be grand?
It would be amazing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanted to just bring that up, let folks hear about that, and just try to give some information. And if they want more information, they can go and take a look at it. There's lots of information out there. So anyway, moving on.
Yeah, now that it's part of our national scheme that we have this, so every year it gets bigger and better.
All right. So, moving on to the agenda for tomorrow night. Exciting. You excited?
I am.
Super.
Super excited.
Yeah, I'm ecstatic.
You're ecstatic.
Can't you tell?
You're gonna be there for quite a while. So the meeting, I guess, starts at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Yes,
That's what it says on the agenda.
It does start early tomorrow night. There's a lot on the list.
Early.
There's a lot on the list.
There is a lot on the list.
Right, and we agree, Joe. It certainly did not end racism.
No. People
yeah,
going to be racist. It's disgusting, but yeah, it's unfortunate. but we can move forward.
Yes, we can. I believe we can anyway.
So let's just chat about the committees. I mean, let's just go right into it.
Sure.
We know that's the great one. So we got CV Fiber.
Well, I wish we could do them the committees first tomorrow as well.
Oh,
that would be wonderful.
Well,
just
so
if you want to make that
stuff
motion
is on the consent agenda,
like
they approve evacuation permit fees.
Mm-hmm.
Approve letter to Green Mountain Transit requesting restoration of services.
Mm-hmm.
Annual presentation of internal financial controls checklist.
Mm-hmm.
Authorize a quick claim deed to merge the Eastman property with the cow pasture. Approve city council appointments.
Mm-hmm.
And authorize the manager execute contracts, which I assume is probably Wheelock. But there might be different ones. What do you got? You see something?
No.
Just for clarity, how is it says city council appointments, how is that different from committee appointments?
I'm wondering if those are from, I'm not entirely sure what that's for.
Okay, sorry.
So I do apologize. No, let me go take a look. Let's see. So that's page 34. So we can scroll right down to page 34. And those are the city appointments that are appointed. Let's see. City manager, Nicholas Dorelli Castro,
Mm-hmm.
city attorney, Oliver Twombly, labor attorney, Scott Cameron, director of emergency management, Keith Cushman, who is our fire chief, energy coordinator, Jeff Bergeron, library trustee council liaison, that would be Teddy Wazazak, health officer, Nicholas Copping, deputy health officer, Joe Allsworth, tax collector, Carol Dawes,
Mm-hmm.
Administrative zoning officer for zoning, and that's Janet Shatney. And then 1 year appointments, Michael Booten to the partnership, council liaison to the partnership, and Counselor Michael Deering, liaison to the Barre Area Development,
Mm-hmm.
and which they're on presentation tomorrow night. And then
yes, that's right. I did see that. That's what I was thinking. I was trying to look really quick, but I couldn't look really quick because I felt like we were missing something. That's what I was going to ask you about. Is BADC doing their presentation?
They sure are. And then Michael Deering. Then of course I'm acting mayor when there is no mayor.
Right. But tomorrow there's going to be a mayor, right? Or are you saying tomorrow you're acting mayor?
Unless he has to step away for the Northern Borders thing.
Oh, okay.
So that might be the case. I'm not entirely sure.
Right, for that one piece.
Correct.
Right.
So I might be acting mayor at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, that's what that is. And then
You ever going to run for mayor?
No. Although I could strike fear.
No. What do you mean no?
I say no, but I've also, years past, I said no to running for school board. So may that strike fear in the hearts of some people that don't want to see me as a mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Does no mean no?
I don't know.
Well, you never know.
Yeah. No. So we've got Stevie Fiber, that there's only one seat. Amanda Gustin is the only person that applied.
Mm-hmm.
She'll probably get it. Obviously. I mean, she's the only person
Right.
that applied. Cemeteries, recreation, conservation. Now, before we have that conversation, I'm actually going to try to split those two.
Right. Which makes so much more sense.
It really does. And
They do not belong together.
No.
Out of all of the bundles, that one just does not make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and the chair of the cemeteries committee was like, no, we really want to be separate. So.
Right, and so and of the rec committee too. I've heard from a couple of people on the rec committee that are saying no, and one who will actually give up their seat if it is combined.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
And that'll be very unfortunate because that's an important.
Well, I hope that person shows up and support.
I hope so too.
And you can tell that person to show up and support.
Yeah.
And
I will.
Obviously, since
It's
I'm pushing
just an
it,
odd
I
combination.
will.
It is. It really is. And I think that separating it out would be absolutely a good idea.
Yes.
And plus, it would make room for, and I don't know. I got a feeling someone. Oh man, I can't. I don't want to. I don't want to say, but someone told me that there was a couple people on there that were really wanting the rec side of things, not necessarily the cemetery side. And based on their interviews, they would be really good on the rec side. But I can't.
Right.
Can't
So
tell
we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
Hopefully it goes that way.
Yeah.
And we will be interviewing Norina Zanleone. Leone. Zanleone. Yep. She is. I want to say she works for a granite company here.
She does.
In Barre.
She does.
Oh, you already know her.
Yes, I do.
Oh, well, I guess I don't know what to say then. And then we'll have to decide who goes where on those committees. But hopefully it works out that way. Or there'll be two committees. And then the Development Review Board, which for those that don't know is basically the appeals process of Janet's office, or when it doesn't fit within the rubric of the Planning Commission set out, they can, as long as they qualify for an exemption, they can go to the DRB and get that. For Ward 1, there's two folks. One is Jeffrey Tupper Giles, who is, or Tupper. Call him Tupper. You should call him Tupper.
Oh.
He hates that.
Yeah.
Hates it. I used to call him that because I didn't know any better.
But now you know better, so don't do it.
I'm not going to lie. In my phone, it's Tupper. So every single time I call, I do okay.
Jeffrey, I'll kick him for you.
He'll be happy.
Yes.
So he's the incumbent, and Lisa Liotta is attempting to run for that position as well. And then for Ward 2, David Huff, who's the incumbent, and Jamie Bauer, who's also applied for the Planning Commission. And then the Planning Commission has a boat ton of people that are applying. We've got incumbents, Rosemary Averill, Joe Rail, who's watching. Welcome. Michael Helene, and Raylene Meunier,
Yes.
who are the incumbents. And then the people that are trying to also get on the Planning Commission is Ernest Drown, Caitlin Corkins, and she used to be on the Barre Partnership. I believe she was an executive member of the Barre Partnership. And then Lisa Liotta for that as well, and Jamie Bauer as well. And then CV Regional Planning Commission, that's going to be Michael Helene. And then we've also got the Diversity and Equity Committee, which is Joellen Mulvaney. She's an incumbent. Christopher Roberts, also an incumbent. Raylene Meunier and Alice Farrell. So, yeah. So the docket is full We're going to have a
It
lot
is very full.
Be prepared, Joe, to answer the tough questions. I'm going to ask you all sorts of terrible questions and make your life miserable.
He threatened me with the same thing, just so that you know.
Joe's like, bring it on.
That's right. Go ahead, Michael.
I don't ever ask questions that are hard.
I know you don't.
I'm a big ol' softy. I'm one of those people that believes, if you're coming to serve, then probably going to let you in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that I...
Right, and if you're somebody that's been serving and you want to keep serving, then...
If you've been faithful in the position, yes. If you haven't been faithful in the position, then...
Right, miss a bunch of meetings and...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's...
Yeah.
Exceptions to every rule, but,
Yes.
for the most part. And then...
I think we have a good group.
I do, too. We've got a lot of good people that are applying. There's going to be an update on preparations to address the emergency housing transitions, which I heard that they are going to dump a lot of money into hotels again from the state level. So
yes, I heard. And I heard that maybe the state is actually looking to purchase some hotels. Yeah.
Because they do such an excellent job.
I know. They're the shittiest landlords ever.
The state does such an excellent job helping people that are homeless.
Yeah.
Excellent job.
Mm-hmm.
They do such an excellent job.
Make sure that people know that you are being facetious.
Oh, yes. I'm being very facetious. The problem is with our government is that we go immediately to housing first.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been multiple times shown not to really help the problem. And we should probably do community first, which is part of housing first and not housing first, right? Like, well, because there's, I love the idea of what Texas did down in, I think it was Austin. It was either Houston or Austin, where they created, and the minute I say it, everybody's going to be like, oh, these tiny homes. Right.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
It's great. They're tasked, they have to pay rent, but it's not a lot. I mean, like $200-300.
Mm-hmm. It's $1 a square foot.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
You cannot go wrong with that. That if you're on Social Security or disability, you can afford that. That is a very affordable situation. Right. And so you are in your own home, which automatically, having your
gives
own space
gives a huge sense of self-worth.
Correct.
Huge.
And, it's in your part of a community. I love it. I'm like, I get all giddy thinking about it. I would love to have it
it's not like
in my backyard.
Yeah, it's not like and you're not saying, here, you go stay in the hotel.
I say that.
It's not the same.
I say that I wouldn't mind having it in my backyard. Other people may have a problem with that, but I would not have a problem with
I think it's a super cool idea.
Right, and the other part of that is it's not only that. Habitat for Humanity is the go-to organization for that, so that in Texas, in New Orleans, I think also in Minneapolis, they have done something along those same lines, whereas you have to participate in the building, like in NOLA, in the Musicians Village that they built after Katrina. They built 82 houses, and they figured that each person would have to contribute 350 hours of either hammering and pounding or design or landscaping or whatever. So it built this community as the community was being built. And it really was, it's a wonderful thing.
The one that I'm talking about in Austin, Texas is not affiliated with Habitat. It's actually a private. There are churches and that are doing that sort of thing. Yeah. But it's a remarkable way to provide housing and services for people who need them, because the alternative is like what happened in Los Angeles, where they just took a lot of these pods and literally just dumped them along the street.
and said, okay, here's a pod, go live in it. But there's no sanitary facilities associated with it. There's like a communal bathhouse sort of thing, and it made the situation worse rather than better.
And my big concern here is that, especially in Vermont, and I feel like, and especially local, and you've heard me say it before, and this pisses some people off, and some people can deal with it. But the fact is that we can do tiny homes, we can do apartments, we can build, but until we start providing more services for the underlying issues, none of it matters. Until there is a place to get help for, in true help for addiction and mental health, we're not giving somebody a house is not giving it to them, but even having them pay their way, we're setting them up for failure without the supports to do so. We need to be able to support people where they're at, just like we do with kids in school. We have to start meeting people where they're at, and I think we suck at that.
The most dangerous 9 words in the English language. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, it's true though, but I just think that we really suck at it. I'm sorry, but we do.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one of the reasons I started my podcast, was I just feel like for far too long we've tried to cover all of that up, and do you know how many overdose deaths there was last week? Do you know how many there were in the city?
5.
Yeah.
Here in Barre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That is
Those
tragic.
are and it all is related. It's all related. We need to start thinking about how we're going to deal with the situation as a whole, and putting a roof over somebody's head is
a very small piece of it.
Very. It's an important piece. I will give that. And that is the one reason, and I thought I was going to get all the hate mail in the world, but I actually didn't. I got a really good response. That was the one reason I have said, I think the state already owns the old Windsor prison. I think we should take the fence down. I think they should be able to have their cars and just be there as a whole, but have it be a supportive community where there's services, and we can learn how to manage our money and get schooling that we might need, or mental health counseling, drug addiction counseling, whatever. I just think that, and if we had one of those here, do that at the Hollow, but make it a supportive community, not just a roof.
Yeah. And then there's also, we're going to be approving the Green Mountain Transit Authority requesting restoration of services. Mm-hmm. And this is something that Jesse Rosado has been just like
hammering. Yes, but so, thank goodness for him. I'm so happy that he's done that.
And let me,
another piece of this puzzle.
Correct. And I've always, and I've told him, listen, you have the fire in the belly about this. You're going to have to be doing the work on it. And I've talked to him, and I don't know how much it's used in the early morning and the evenings, but if it helps one person, and it's, and I'll be honest with you, and I was talking to him about this, and it's like, they get money from the state. Do your damn job, right? Your job is to provide public transportation for people to help them to get to work. And if you're not offering that key service, the one service that will allow someone to get a good job, shame on you. I mean, really, just absolutely shame on you. And quite frankly, I heard that the director recommended doing it, and the board said no. The executive committee said no, and it's just like. When Jesse told me that, I'm like, and maybe maybe I don't know all the information. That's very possible. I don't know everything, but again, I get back to, I don't know. We give you millions of dollars out of our taxes, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 bus rides.
Yeah.
1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and that's like 6 days a week.
Right.
I understand that it might be difficult. It ain't that difficult. Wake up, put your alarm clock for like a half an hour early. Pay the overtime. They restored every 30 minutes, but yet that early morning and that late evening is not affected. And it's like, kind of missed the point.
Right. People still can use it.
Right.
Yeah.
If you, and it's just like, again, I can't help, when Jesse started talking about it originally, I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. But like, the more he's talked to me, the more I've been like,
right. The more you understood what he's talking about.
Yeah. And the more it kind of just like irks me because, and I think what irks me about it is that we do dump millions of dollars into this public transportation model, and everybody's like, oh, we got to have public transportation, blah 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 blah, but yet you can't get to where you need to be to get that higher paying job, and it's just, I get it. So we're going to be sending a letter telling them to restore that,
and it flies in the face of everything that everyone is talking about. Reduce use of single driver cars, individuals taking advantage of public transportation. How can you take advantage? I'm a big supporter of public transportation. If I had my way, there would be light rail, but that's a whole different issue. But the whole thing is, if there's not public transportation, how can you tell people to use public transportation? It throws them right back into those single driver cars going back and forth every day.
I think he's getting like progressively frustrated with.
I don't blame him. It's been a long fight.
Yeah, it has been.
And it's been over a year.
Yeah.
Since they came to city council and said that they would be restoring services. I mean, they made a promise to you all, and they definitely didn't hold up their end of the bargain.
No.
And it's easy to see why he gets frustrated. And what makes me more impressed by his fight with them is that Jesse no longer needs the transportation.
Right.
He has his own vehicle, but he has chosen to continue to fight for the people that do need the transportation. And so that says 2 things to me. One, it says a lot about him to me as far as who he is as a person, but it also says it must, I mean, he if he really truly did not feel it was necessary, he would have walked away from it. I mean, he obviously knows how important that was for him when he needed it and how it'll impact others.
Yep. And then we can touch base about the Eastman property. So a couple weeks ago,
That's cow pasture.
Couple months, yeah.
Yeah.
So we bought a couple parcels for $50K, somewhere around there. I think it was $50K. It might have been $49. No, he paid $49 for 20 parcels. Sold us like 19 or 18 of them for $50K.
Right. Right.
Not that I'm bitter about it. But we're now gonna combine those parcels together and merge them with the cow pasture. And yeah, so not much to talk about there. And
except that it makes for a nice area up there.
The ledge does make nice area.
Well, that's why it was deemed unable to build, right? Only very few sites were able to be built on, and the rest of it was a no-go because of the ledge, correct?
Yeah. Because the ledge, it was pretty bad. We do need more parking up in the cow pasture, Connie. I agree. Mm-hmm. Just as a side note, Connie, I believe that's actually going to happen. The additional parking is going to happen. And maybe, speaking about parking and like random things, so I'm going to try to get Nicholas to support having a road out to the dog park in Barre City. I am so freaking sick and tired of Barrytown being better dog park. We have more space and we're in a better location because it's nice and
I don't even know where it is.
Yeah, I know. Not too many people do. You know where the bike path is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Barre City bike path.
Correct. Halfway down, there's a big rock and you take a right there. And that's where the dog park is. Oh. And it would be nice to be able to drive up into it, have water there, and I just want to be better than Barrytown. Sorry. Alice. Yeah, wait a minute. Both of you.
We put our heart and soul into that dog park.
Yeah, I know.
And
we're very
proud of it.
I live in the town, but I'm a city girl.
You are. I agree.
City girl at heart. I just can't help it. I tried to be a city girl. 13 houses we looked at were outbid 9 times.
I know.
And I mean, there was just nothing else. There just wasn't, not in my price range anyway. And so if it makes you feel any better, the last 14 feet, my backyard, 14 feet of my backyard is in the city. And the rest of my land is in houses in the town. So I still get the best of both worlds. I just sit in the sunshine in the city and drink my beer on the patio at night in the town.
Well, and then of course like I said, we're doing a resolution to appoint Nicholas as to authorize on behalf of the city to apply and expend grant funds from Northern Borders Regional Commission. So that's $116,000 for the North End pump station. And Northern Borders, that's the one that had the grant that Prospect Heights was trying to get, and unfortunately they weren't able to get it. Mm-hmm. I could say why I think that was the case, but when you talk smack about BADC and anyway. All right. Well, with that, I think I'm done for the night.
Yeah.
And you guys have
that's probably
else?
Another show.
That's probably another show.
Yeah.
Anyway, so nothing for you guys? Nothing else?
I don't think so. Except, well, yes, I want to give kudos I want to give kudos to the city workers who have started painting the lines and the crosswalks.
We have great city workers.
Yes, and I love seeing the crosswalks very visible now. Huge difference, and they have started doing some of the lines too. And so, thank you a million times. It's makes things so much safer. And yeah, that's it. Even in the crappy weather and putting up with all these bitchy people that ride by and are, like JD, who gets crabby when people are doing road construction. But I pick on him and give him a horrible time because he bitches about the big bumps and how horrible the roads are, but then he bitches when he's got to wait. I love to pick on him about that. Yeah.
And this is the last week of school. So
yes,
the kiddos will be out. They'll be out on their bicycles.
Yes.
They'll be bouncing the basketballs.
Yep.
So everyone needs to really be extra alert. The pool opens, so there'll be many kiddos heading in that direction.
Yes, the city pool opens. There's camps that are starting up. There's baseball camps and football camps and regular camps and the swimming pool. Yeah, keep watch of Aired Out and the City Community fan page and the BUUSD parents page as well.
Yep.
They post all kinds of happenings there.
And all of those people who drive well beyond the speed limit. It's 25. It's not a suggestion. Welcome to Barre. Because that's just my concern. I see the children out there. I see them on their bicycles. And I see little black cars and little red cars just steaming around, not paying attention to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's an accident waiting to happen.
It is.
And we don't want it.
Nope, we do not. And I will say I went up to the school today, and it was bustling with the little children running around. It was great. I saw three Deering children, 3 of them, and Cassie, for that matter. I saw her too. And yeah, it was pretty cool. We had a conversation with Jason Fleury and Jen Carbonneau. She's probably.
I heard
I
that.
don't know if this is allowed. If I'm allowed to say
Well,
this. But
I
I'm
think
gonna
you're
say-
allowed. She made it public post.
Well, yeah, that I was going to say that we were chatting about Christmas for kids, and because Jen Carbonneau is extremely involved in that process with Jason Fleury,
and I hope that she always will be.
right.
She'll remain.
She absolutely will. The type of person that she is, she absolutely will. She will 100% maintain involvement. But
That
yeah,
makes me happy.
she unfortunately her position was eliminated, which again, not really sure why it was eliminated when the school budget was supposed to be like not eliminating any positions.
Right.
But I guess they're eliminating her position and replacing her with 2 paras, which I don't quite understand that.
We'll
And,
see if that's what
yeah.
really happens even.
Well, I mean,
you know.
I think
I thought the idea was to reduce the number of paras.
I don't know. All I know is that
I thought so too, but not if you need to move somebody out, then
Yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I'll say that.
then you find a
because-
need for Paris.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's definitely unfortunate.
it is.
Yeah.
But it was a really nice conversation I had with her, and of course I went down to Spalding High School because I went and I picked up my yearbook, a couple yearbooks. You can buy yearbooks down there, by the way.
Of course you can.
And if you're old like me, they only cost $10.
I don't want to hear old like you. What is that crap?
You're like
Today
7 years older than me, and
listen,
that's it.
today I posted the pictures.
What year did you graduate?
13 years ago, my son graduated from Spalding. Like today, 13 years ago today.
Yeah, but you graduated what?
In
89?
90.
Okay, so 90.
Yeah, in 90.
So you went to school with my sister,
Probably.
Renee Boutin. Did you know her?
Probably.
No, you obviously didn't
Probably.
care.
No, I probably did. Do you remember how many people we had in our classes? We had a few hundred people in our classes for one. And for two, I have terrible memory issues.
You have terrible. So
Which, they're medication
hey, folks,
induced.
We're
and
all done. Now we're
seriously,
just
they're
shooting the breeze.
medication induced. They're from medical issues, and I seriously do have memory issues. I cannot tell you, and sad but true, thank God for photos, because I could not tell you one thing about any childhood Christmases, any of my kids' Christmases. When it happens, it's done for me.
I'll say this.
It can be great, but it can suck.
I was walking into Cumberland Farms last night, and somebody in their car said, "Hi, Michael." And I'm looking at him, and I start talking, and I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I'm like trying to place and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know who you are." And he's like, and he starts telling me who he is, and he's like, "I knew you for like 3 years."
And you're like,
I was
okay.
dating one of your friends, and you did, and it was just, it was really, it was kind of funny, and he was making some, he thought because he had said something to me, or quite a few times to me, inappropriate or whatever, and he felt kind of bad about it, and I'm like, I can't remember. So,
which is a good thing.
I'll forgive you. I mean, if it makes you feel better, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
I probably should have just told him it's something that I would forgive you anyway. But yeah. So I am definitely old. I know that Gina Galfetti and I were talking on the phone until like 12 o'clock the other night, looking at our yearbooks.
Good Lord.
I should go back to Spalding High School and buy one of your yearbooks.
I can just bring it to you.
Oh, well,
I have them all.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I have all of the yearbooks from 8th grade. My 8th grade yearbook, my 9, 10, 11, 12. I have them all.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I still have my senior portraits. I have all of that stuff still. Yeah.
So, yeah,
my class ring.
You have your class ring?
Yeah, and I have my
Doesn't
Spalding.
everybody?
I have my jacket, my high school jacket, and I have one hoodie left. So I don't wear my jacket anymore, of course, my wool jacket, but I still wear my hoodie from my senior year in high school.
You do?
Yes, I do. Still have it. Still wear it. I take such good care of it, and it's faded, but it's still a really good, comfy sweatshirt, and I still wear it. Yeah.
Trying to
Oh no! What is he
send
doing?
myself an email.
He's doing a reminder.
I am I'm causing trouble because I'm gonna end up leaving the show. Not leaving the show. I'm not leaving the show. Sorry, folks, you're not getting that. No, I want to go into my account.
Mm-hmm.
And how come I can't?
Are you gonna like close out and be done?
I'm
Because
getting pretty
all right,
close.
because I want to say two things.
Sure.
Before I go. So, go Isabella Deering, who was on the fence about playing football for some reasons, and with lots of encouragement and thought, encouragement by many of us. That's when you can really love Facebook, because a bunch of us were able to chime in and cheer her on. She's chosen to play football. And so go Isabella. I hope she kicks some butt and enjoys every second of it and has the best year ever. And I can't wait to go watch her. And then don't forget to tune in to It's No Secret tomorrow at noon, when Michael Deering will be joining me. So we are going to talk a little bit about his past, how he got better, how he got to where he is today, and what he thinks the city of Barre could do to help.
Nice. And then what time is that again?
Noon.
Noon.
Right on Air It Out. So if you tune in to Air It Out at noon, you'll see the episode of It's No Secret with myself and tomorrow's guest, Michael Deering.
All right. And Alice?
We're just chugging along here, making sure everybody's getting what they need, everybody's moving into summer and being safe. That's the important thing.
All right. And I'll just state that I want to say thank you to everyone. And as I said, I did go to the school and I also got my records. Unfortunately, I didn't get my personnel records, which would have shown me going before the school board during an incident. But I did also get this picture, the most adorable child, chunky little cheeks.
Oh, gosh.
So great. Guys, have a wonderful evening, and thank you for watching the Barre Beat podcast.
There you go. There he is.
Live from Fly on the Wall Productions.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Studios, Main Street.
What is on your sweatshirt? Mickey Mouse?
Taz. Tasmanian Devil.
Oh. Oh.